Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlie. I am a kindergarten teacher here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe so you can follow me on all of my adventures. But today it is our first day back from winter break. We actually have a teacher in service day today. It's called like a staff development day. So we had meetings, and because of COVID, all of our meetings were supposed to be like face-to-face in person, but because of COVID and the rising numbers here in Vegas, they've actually decided to put all of our PD and everything today virtual. So we had all online meetings this morning. We went over like a whole bunch of our MAPS data and looked at regrouping our students, and then now this afternoon we kind of have some time to kind of do things in our classroom. So let me tell you my ideas. So I know some of you are going to think I'm absolutely insane for this, but I am actually going to be revamping and redoing some things in my room. So let me kind of give you a small tour of what my room is like right now, so then you'll understand my vision for it. So let's start with my reading area. My kids are over here chilling. So in my reading area, I always put like our anchor chart of what we're learning, and then I have like my centers and like the groupings for the kids. Up here in the front of the classroom I have, yep, that's straight up from Christmas. It's actually the only Christmas decoration that I have not taken down. I will say that. Everything else is down. So our calendar is up here in the front, as long as like what we go through. I have an easel, we have like a carpet area which we would sit at, objectives. Over here I have a wardrobe that's opened, my bad. Wardrobe, like kitchen area. This wall was just blank until like 10 minutes ago. And then I have a student work board, a birthday board that I never put birthdays up. I don't know if anyone else could feel me this year, but I feel like this year I like made all bulletin boards but just struggled even getting things on the bulletin board, which is horrible. I feel like if you don't start your year with stuff up on your bulletin boards, it's just not gonna happen, because once the ball gets rolling, that's it. So this was small group area. Today it's been like work area for everything. Over here is my math section, and we've also kind of doubled it up as like my STEM center as well, which like if you've seen any of my previous videos or follow me on Instagram, like I was saying how I need to like redo my STEM center. So that I still really need to work on. One of my parents for Christmas gave me an amazing Amazon gift card, so I'm actually going to be using that to help me refill and get the things that I need for my STEM center. But you could see on my math board how I wanted to get like groupings up on the board and the different stations, and it just hasn't happened. Like, it's in my head, it's on our like a digital, but I really want to get it on the board. So as much as I'm such a fan of like the digital center rotations, I also really like having it visible in the room, so that if anybody walks in, they know the groupings of my students and everything else, just in case, God forbid, something happened to like me, or if I ever was not there, I could just easily run without any technology. And then at the bottom, like, we track our ST math and our number writing as well. In kindergarten, the standard is only to 20, but I do push them to 120 if they're capable. So we're tracking that over there. Then in this corner, we have like ball equipment, some math and STEM manipulatives, and then our Chromebooks, those I was like cleaning. That's like all chargers and stuff. And then over here in the writing, we have our housing and like play area, as well as like my writing center. So that's what it is right now, but I do want to change some things, and let me tell you why. So for one, I want to change things just because halfway through the year I just get tired of looking at everything the way that it's been, to be honest with you. And then I also want to change it just because I don't feel like I've been utilizing the room as well as I could have, if that makes sense. Coming from like preschool autism and whatever background, I do know that certain centers are not supposed to be near other centers. For example, like your kitchen and household area is not supposed to be anywhere near your reading area and things like that. And I do have like our dollhouse and play area next to my reading, and it's inside of my writing, which has been driving me crazy. So I'm gonna tell you my vision and tell you a couple of things that I also want to change, and then I will show you what it looks like when I'm all done. So one of the things I want to change is this area right here. Let me grab this real quick. So you could see like I've had my small group table and behind me my student workboard. One thing that I want to change is I want to bring my kidney table and my small group table to the front of the room. Numerous reasons for this. For one, I want to put my Elmo onto it so that when I'm teaching from the Elmo, I could be directly in front of my students and not in the corner. If you could see, let's see. So you could see like there's my desk over there, and whenever I project something on the screen, I'm having to teach from over there a lot of the time, and not being right in front of them just because the smart boards are honestly not so smart. So I do want to move my kidney table up to the front of the room and have the Elmo on it, so that this way a lot of the day I could be, or just whenever I am utilizing the Elmo, I could be directly in front of the students. I'm hoping that will help a lot with our direct instruction, and just for some of the ones that just kind of need my presence on top of them all the time, I'll be able to do that. As well, I think back to like my first year of teaching, I had a really hard class with a lot of very challenging students, and that year I did have my kidney table in the front of the room, and it made a night and day difference with me having the ability to just pull them right up to the table and then still teach everyone else, but then assist them right in front of me as soon as possible that I could give them that attention. So that's my goal with that. Now, as much as I love seeing student work on the board, I think I could utilize this space better. So my idea for this whole area, once this table is moved to the front of the room, I'm gonna put a carpet over here, I'm gonna move my easel over here, and then I'm gonna take this student work board down and I'm gonna put a calendar board up. And I know you're like, what? It's not even a kindergarten standard, but hear me out. Even though calendar is no longer a kindergarten standard, there are so many standards that we can hit in just the half-hour time if we did do like a circle time per se. So especially when I looked and reflected on my MAPS data and I was kind of walking around like while they were testing, so many numbers in base 10, so many tally marks, coins, money, time, all of those things that I could so easily hit within our morning meeting every day. The Haggerty I could put in there. So I'm gonna create this whole board in the room as like a calendar and a focus board. And that is gonna be how we start our day every day. We do something similar to that in the mornings, but not as extensive. So I kind of wanna challenge those DOK levels and challenge that higher level thinking, and that's my goal for that part. So I might have to like move other things around due to that, but that's gonna be pretty much my main focus. And then my thinking is that then I could kind of move the garage and the playhouse over in the corners of this section so that this way I could get it out of the writing. I absolutely love D.D. Will's writing centers, and I've always used them. They've always been super effective in my classroom, so I would like to start implementing those a lot more now that the kiddos have like routines down and I feel like they can handle it. So those are all my goals. Now it's time to make it happen. We got this. And last but not least, this wall was completely blank over here up until literally right before I did this video. So I have a pocket chart that every day when we do our centers, me and the kiddos go through, and so it looks like this. So what I do is, as I teach a sight word explicitly, I turn it yellow, and so all the rest that we haven't learned explicitly are in orange. And then usually, sorry for that up close of my face, but usually once it becomes yellow and I've taught it explicitly, then it goes up onto our word wall. So I'm going to be working hard today to get this word wall up, get the words up there that we have learned, so that this way the kiddos that kind of sit in the front of the room, they could utilize the pocket chart whenever we're doing writing or reading, and they could incorporate it into their writing and reading. And then the kiddos that sit in the back of the classroom are able to utilize the word wall. So this way, no matter where you're sitting in the room, you have something that you could utilize as a tool. Hey y'all! Okay, so today was the first day back for students. So yesterday, when I had started this video, it was teachers' first day back, and we had meetings in the morning, and then we kind of had the afternoon. So I was able to get like a couple things up and running, and then my goal is to kind of take this week to finish all my goals for the classroom, and then this way I could show you guys like the final whole tour. So today I'm going to show you like our new reading area, and it's not new. Like in the reading area I have like a mirror. Like I think it's so cute for them to be able to look at themselves. I enjoy looking at myself and seeing a selfie in the mirror. My daily, hey girl, how you doing? Yes, totally. We also have like our sight word chart over here. We have like a giant costume tree where I always hang like different holiday crafts that we make. In the fall it's usually apples, and we'll move into like bats, and during Christmas time we'll have like snowflakes or light bulbs, and it goes on and on. So this reading part I have over here is a reading roadmap. So it actually comes with like a really cute car. It is from the Happy Teachers palette. And so this is kind of like my way of ensuring I go through every single reading standard when we go through a story. And especially because I usually take the whole week to go through a theme or a story. For example, this week we're doing The Mitten. So one of the days we'll cover like the title parts of the book. We'll move into like author and illustrator, what their roles are, and we'll discuss who it is. We'll talk about like the setting and what a setting means, and then we'll find the settings of the place and in the story. We'll talk about the characters, and then we hit on main idea, and this is usually where we'll also kind of like retell the story too. So this kind of forces me to make sure I go through each of them. When I reflected on my maps data, I had just kind of seen that we had some like little bit of holes, and it honestly was the things that I was like not so much focusing on. Like title author, we do that strictly like every Monday, so like they had that down pat, but main idea and like character settings, like that vocabulary I honestly had lacked using. So this is me forcing myself to get it together. So that's that part. And then I also took my data, and I was honestly only pulling my low kiddos at the beginning of the year, but I need to start pulling all of them. So now that they are a little more independent and they are able to kind of not need me right on top of them all the time, we are going to start our reading rotations. I typically in a normal school year will start these at the beginning of the year, but this year there was just like kind of a lot of behaviors, and not necessarily bad ones, just certain tendencies. They were a lot more needy as far as like social skills and just kind of being out and about and in a classroom, knowing like the to-dos and not to-dos. So we kind of had to get all of that in order before we can move on to our reading centers. And I'm actually not mad about it, because now I feel like they have the structures, routines, and procedures so intact that they are literally gonna take this and like fly with it. So I honestly almost feel like maybe it wasn't necessarily a bad thing that we waited. Like I honestly feel like it might even be more beneficial to them. So I have like my groupings. So I will meet with like my lower kiddos every single day for more minutes than I was before, and then I will see each of the other groups as well too. Excited for those. So this week I'm going to take the time to introduce the students to like every different one of the centers that we'll be doing. And this amazing pocket chart is from Lakeshore. And let me see if I have the cue cards handy that go with it. Oh, they're right over here. So these cue cards that go with it go right inside of the pocket chart, and it's like the best thing in the world because it just makes it so easy, and I just like move the cards down. So we're gonna have like a storytelling center. I have like a whole felt center with different stories. So this will kind of be that imagination, them taking the stories and reenacting them. It will help with like beginning, middle, end, making sure they have an opening and a closing and all those things. So that one they'll have fun with. I love Write the Room. I use all of DD Wills and Deanna Jump's Write the Room, one of my absolute favorite centers. They love it. I have a bunch of like different games and puzzles that they could do that are completely academic, so that'll be a center that they could do over here on the carpet. Our library center, they love going into the library and sitting there with like a pillow or a stuffed animal and reading a book. We have our writing center, which I'll explain to you later in this video. We have a sight word center that I'll show you later in this video. And then, of course, So another part of our room today that I will show you is our word wall. This wall was like completely blank. I was originally going to use it for a class job, but I just felt like with COVID and health protocols, like I just don't know if it's a good idea for like all the students to be touching everyone else's things that I would normally have jobs associated with. So I've decided to use a word wall, which I had stopped using in the past, but now being back in kinder, I do want them to utilize tools around them, so they could use our Parkit chart in the front, like I had mentioned before, and then they could use our word wall, and it came out so stinking cute. This pack is the Rainbow Sunshine pack from Stephanie Nash. So adorable. So whenever we have taught something explicitly in class, a sight word, then it ends up going up on our word wall. So I'm very excited that they could start utilizing the word wall for all the things. All right, you guys, it's a new day, and I have got my writing board like good to go so I could show you the center. So it's being used as two centers, like both our play area, you can see the rug, and also our writing center, which it's driving me crazy, but just, okay, my room is like big, like, okay, I'm gonna give you a quick like turn around, ready? Corner, all right, okay, front of the room, corner, my child. Both my children, door to go out. Okay, hopefully that didn't make you too dizzy, but my room's like a really good size, but it's still like not as big as like some kindergarten rooms. Definitely not as big as like ones I've had in the past, or others that like I've seen. Ideally I would like love to steal the preschool rooms, classrooms, can't lie, but I also don't want to deal with preschool, so I couldn't do like the crying and accidents and all those things. I'm done with those days. Anyways, time to focus. So in my writing center, when they come to writing, I typically use the writing center for two different things, both our writing center and our grammar center, but we have not gotten to the point where we're ready for the grammar center yet. So that's something that I'll add on later in this year. Probably around spring break, and then kind of use that for the end of the year. But for now, in writing, I'll always put like our anchor chart that whatever we're working on, will go up in the middle. We've been working a lot on like sentence, the components of a sentence, and they use this as a reminder. We go through it every single day when we do writing. So when we do writing, right now we're talking about how we have like a labeled detailed picture. We start with a capital, use finger spaces, stretch out the words, and this week our new goal is to use the word wall words. So that's where the word wall came in. It just was kind of fit that like it's now up in the classroom, and that's our new goal. When we do writing every day, I'm loving the carpet area that I added. This was a new addition that I added. I didn't have this before. It was just like my small group table was over here. So I kind of moved the small group table over there. I switched kitchens with another one of the classrooms, so now the kitchen is over here, and it's kind of like backpacking off of our math center. So this is like our math center. They have this table to like put all the manipulatives on and whatever they're doing. But this carpet area, this is where we do our writing each day. So I will always be kind of sitting up here. I have a cooler stool at home that I need to bring in. But I always sit up here. I'll scaffold whatever writing that we're doing for the day. I'll model it for them, and then they go back to their seats for like the independent writing part. And then I'll call them over to like the small group table or to my desk to kind of check their writing. And I will typically check 2 tables a day, and I make notes as I like go through and check them. And then this over here, I have not gotten this all together yet. This is going to be kind of like the last piece of the room, but this is going to be our STEM center. So I still have like some of the labels on because when I was like in K1 before, I used this. So I'm actually really excited that like I'm back in K1 and we could like utilize the STEM center again because it was by far their favorite center. So I had these from Brook Brown, and in my STEM center bins we had like base 10 blocks, so there was even like math manipulatives because they actually really like to use those to help build. So we have like base 10 blocks. The hashtag blocks are like always a favorite. We have these. These are like another favorite. they're obsessed with those. There's like kinetic sand over here. So there's like a couple things that like had gotten like ruined or broken. I gave away, sold. So I actually need to like buy a couple of things. So one of the things I want to buy are like those huge magnet tiles. My class in the past loved those. And I also want to get like a whole marble tower set. And I want to put that in the swim center as well. So those are kind of like the big additions I want to make. And then as far as the calendar, this was like one thing that I decided to revamp and do for this next semester. When I looked at our MAPS data, I was so irritated at myself that like I didn't do like a huge circle time. We do a morning circle, I guess you could call it, but it's not as extensive as I'm planning to do it now this second semester. And that's just because like years ago they took it out of the kindergarten curriculum, and my principal at the time just kind of didn't want us to spend a whole lot of time on like calendar and circle time. But after looking at the MAPS data, there are so many things on a daily basis that we could do in like this center and circle time. So I'm going to be implementing it into like our calendar and circle time per se. So let me show you some of the things that we'll be doing. So of course we will cover like months of the year, days of the week. We'll sing those little songs. We'll talk about like yesterday, today, tomorrow. We'll cover our specials for the day. We'll have a kiddo check the weather. And then over here, this will kind of be like our focus for the week. So we'll always have our word family, which we're starting next week. Our sight words for the week will be up there. We'll have our coin that we're doing for the week, and then we'll review a shape. And then when we do the shapes, my kids killed it on map testing and shapes, and we had just finished that unit, but like we were very high in shapes. So that just told me that they did really good with the vocabulary of like vertices, sides, and all of the attributes. So I want to make sure that we keep that fresh so that we sustain those scores for spring. So that's why we'll kind of still be recovering, like going over shapes and reviewing it, just because I want to keep that fresh in their brain. Over here, I haven't introduced this to them yet. That's why it's like all blank, but this is going to be my vision. Whatever number of days that we've been in school, today, for example, was 87. We would write the number 8 and 7 so they could see the 1s and the 10s. Then we would do it with the base 10 blocks. So I'm actually going to put like little baggies here so that then we could do it with the base 10 blocks, so they could start associating that. And that's more of a first grade standard, but it'll help them with that place value. And then the ones that are ready to be pushed that far, it'll help them go further. We're going to start to be counting money. So since we're doing the penny, we're going to start by just adding coins at a time. And I actually have a couple that are ready right here. So we'll have some coins that like I'll just add to our bank, and we'll see how many coins. We'll count how much it's worth every day. So like we would have 1, 2, so then I would write 2 cents over here. And then time, I'm actually going to start introducing them to time by the hour. It's technically not something that we're supposed to teach, but it is on their MAPS testing, and it's something that they learn in first grade and kind of need to know. So we don't really have any standards surrounded by it except to identify the hour, and it's not even to where they have to do it independently. It's supposed to be like where they're pretty much guided and coached through it. So I am going to introduce the hour, and possibly if they run with it, the half hour. So we will start doing that, and then I will be writing the digital time that goes with it there, so that this way they could start seeing it, both the analog and the digital clock at the same time. Okay, so the last thing that I need to show you is just my area. It's very like boring. In the next year, if I could afford it, if you see like in my small group area, I have this like black shelf. I would like to replace like those shelves and put that black shelf, just because I just like my own furniture and I like it black. And that will also like help me make that a little bit of a smaller area to where it won't take up as much space as like those gray ones do. So that's kind of my plan for that. This is like an island, just because sometimes they're necessary. So yeah, that is classroom tour for this year. I know it's kind of like all over the place, but yeah, so this is, I'll go over here so you could see it. So this is kind of my view from the desk. Yeah, so I love it. I'm loving the new setup. I feel like it's going to be very, very effective. I hope that you guys enjoyed the classroom tour. Now that I've like done one, I know for next year to kind of do it like a little more organized and go like center by center. So stay tuned for the one for next year. I'm already kind of like, there's some things that I already have in mind that I want to change or like move around, but my first year being back in kinder, I feel like not too shabby. We have somewhat of a vision going, and this week has honestly been night and day difference as far as like our structure and the procedures and how everything's been running. And I think a lot of it is just because how it's now organized, it just makes a lot more sense to me and the kids. So it's making our routine a lot better throughout the day. So thank you for joining me on my classroom tour, and I hope you subscribe and come back next time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Hero on Heels.